Okie doke.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Chapter 10, Step 7, Find Your Because of this awesome book. Can you believe we're like at the end of this book? All right. My name is Cari Netherton. I am an Emerald Ambassador, and I've been with Plexus for about 3 years now.
And I am Megan Goff. I'm a Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus, and I have been with Plexus about 2 years and a few months, actually pushing 2.5 years. So we're going to look at page 195. Honestly, guys, this chapter is really deep, and Cari and I have been discussing how deep we're going to go with you guys. So we're going to touch on the highlights, basically, in this, what we feel was really, really key and really, really helpful, not just in our Plexus business, but in life, too. So I wanted to read the quote from page 195. It says, "When we look at the 3%ers, happy, successful people who are the naturals of success, we finally realize that that they are being who they are and living their purpose in life." And so this book talks a lot about the 3%ers. I really like that little quote. And just in light of purpose, I think that is key. It's key with whatever you want to be successful in. If you're wanting to be successful in your family, with your kids, with your business, with Plexus business, the key is that you know your because, that you know you have a purpose for your life. And like that, I think there's a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. It's so key. Like if you don't have a purpose and a reason for what you're doing, you need to. It's the foundation. It's the key behind success. And really, I liked that quote at the top where it says, "This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one." And really, your purpose, in my opinion, like I frame all things in light of my faith. And so having, living my life on purpose for God's glory is the key. That's the foundation which everything else is built on in life. So people aren't attracted to people that don't know their because. It says on page 196, people don't follow followers, people follow leaders. And in your, we're applying this in our Plexus businesses, and, you are a leader as a silver. You are a leader as a diamond, and you have to know. If you don't know what your because is, you need to go find it. And he kind of goes through a few things. He gives points, 1, 2, 3, define your core competencies, identify your avenues of expression, and release your spirit.
Yeah, I just, another thing I highlighted on 196 was where he says, "When you find your balance, you will have taken the most important steps to become fundamentally unstoppable." When you find your because, you will not be able to be stopped. So I love that he actually uses that, and it's almost always in italics. He uses the words fundamentally unstoppable multiple times in this chapter, and I think that's really, really key to understand that when you get that because, when you find that drive, you're not going to be able to be stopped. So I also like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he goes on to say how describing your strengths and documenting your skills are so, so important, and how there's a difference between a strength and a skill. Cari and I were kind of chatting about that. So I guess maybe to make it practical, maybe this would help you. I don't know. But a strength, like my husband told me that I have a certain character skill that is my strength. He said it's also my weakness, but he said that strength, he says, is diligence for me. But a skill, I would say a skill that I have, it's actually linked to diligence, is music. I'm a musician. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, I haven't really thought through these questions, but it would be good for you to go through and read those questions and think about them, and even ask your spouse, ask your mentor if you have one, or your sponsor, what they see in you that's your strength. And then what are you good at? And you may not even know. You might have to ask someone else what they see in you.
I would recommend, this would be just like a recommendation, I think that asking 3 different people, like 3 trusted people that you have, like in different aspects of your life. Like, for instance, I teach part-time at a Christian school. Like, I would ask one of my co-teachers, or, maybe an administrator there. I would definitely ask my husband, and then I'd probably ask somebody in Plexus, like, what do you see as a strength for me? What skills do you see that I'm good at? I think asking a broad range of people. And I say like a minimum of 3, ask 5, ask 10 people that you trust, ask somebody at church. That'd probably be my next one I'd go to, somebody at church that I trusted. But we were also, Megan and I were also chatting with, we feel like a strength is something that you just kind of, you have, but a skill is a lot of times something you've learned. Whether it's like Megan said, like music or, sports, or it's like some hobby you have, or, a skill is usually something, a learned trait, per se. So, but yeah, going through those questions and really thinking about them yourself. That's why, Megan, we said that this chapter is kind of hard to dig deep into, because everyone on this call, everyone listening to this is different. Megan and I are different. Every jewel is different. Every, diamond is different. Nobody is the same. So it's really important to just dig into these questions and really think about them. And then also on the next page, it talks about your desires. So after you've talked about your strengths and after you've talked about your skills, define your desires. And I feel like this kind of goes into, plexus a lot. Like if money were no object, I would what? We talk about dreaming big all the time. Dream big. If money were no object, what would you do? Would you pay off debt? Would you, buy a bigger house? What would you do? How much would you give to people? If money were no object, like think of those desires, like what are you happiest, doing? And just think of those things. I think those are things that really make you happy. And, you think of what dreams can you have?
What's your bucket list?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because I don't know, Cari, if you feel this way, but it's kind of surreal to be a jewel, because you start to think, oh, I'm here. Like I'm living some of the dreams that I had when I started out, like I'm seeing them realized. And so that's super exciting. And just in defining your desires, if money were no object, I would what? For our family, it's been travel. We've been able to travel. And how fun is that? We get to do it with our kids. We get to teach them. Cari, do you have something that you are realizing now that you have on your dream list?
Well, I always I love teaching, but I always want to be at home more. And you can't see me standing up. I'm expecting number 3 right now. I've got a couple months left. But I've always wanted to be home more, but I really wasn't ready to give up teaching. And I teach at a small private school. And I have been able to, I teach part-time now. So I only go in 2 to 3 days a week, and it's wonderful. Yay. So, before being a jewel, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And, before Plexus, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And so I still get to teach, and someday I may give up teaching completely, but right now I'm happy doing both. So I get to be home with the kids more, but I also get to be a teacher. I also get to have another purpose. So yeah, it's crazy. The thing, like you said, it's kind of like, oh, I'm here. I can part-time teach now. I don't have to be there every single day and, be grumpy mommy when I come home every single day because I'm exhausted. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. And I would say something that this book talks about on page 197, he explains, or he encourages us not to wait until every single thing is in order before you start moving. He said that would be like wanting to take a trip and waiting for every light to be green before you leave.
Yes.
Most people live that way, waiting for things to be perfect before they'll act. The 3%ers realize that life ain't perfect and simply act. You can do this too. And Cari, would you say that that's been you? Like when you started your Plexus journey, did you just like hop in and do it? Not even
kind of. Well, I jumped on and said I wasn't sharing, but I told my family, and then it's like I started sharing, and it was like, oh, I'm silver. Oh, I'm going to work towards gold. And yeah, it's kind of like you just kind of jump into it. Mm-hmm. Well, and also, I'll say, it's kind of like we always tell people, like, stop waiting. You don't have to wait until Monday. Like, you don't have to wait until next month to start. Like, just do it. Like, if you're listening to this and you haven't come out yet and said, like, you're sharing Plexus, just do it. Mm-hmm. If you've been afraid to do something, or, you just kind of dabbled at the business, just jump on. Stop waiting. So yeah, don't wait until Monday.
Yes, that's been the story of my journey. Like, I remember going and listening to Shoshana share, and I got home and I was like, I need to tell people about these products. I told Justin, we were out working in the garden, I'm like, I'm going to host something at the house and tell people about Plexus products. It's like, okay. Nothing was perfect. I did not have a slideshow. I think I had 1 stick of Slim left to maybe give people a taste test. The story of my journey is jump in, start where you are. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it goes for anything in life, really. Like, people want to wait till the stars align to have a baby, or to jump on their new eating plan, or to exercise. Really, wake up in the morning, go get your run in, right? That's what the 3%ers do. You can do
put
it,
your
right?
running shoes on and go.
Exactly. So in the yeah, we were looking at, okay, so the next section is the avenues of expression.
I feel like the reveal who you really are, that's kind of like, that's hard to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the avenues of expression part 2, the review your roles.
Mm-hmm.
I like where it says that that doesn't mean that you have to do exactly. Oh, am I still? Okay. You know, we talk about this a lot about comparing your journeys. Don't compare your journey to anyone. You don't need to compare it to, you know, you watch diamond documentaries, don't compare your journey to them. You watch, you know, a sideline, don't compare your journey to them. You know, if you're listening to this call, it's a pretty good chance that one of your, well, it says like key roles I do or would like to do. It's a pretty good chance if you're listening to this, you want to be a diamond. You want to be a jewel. We probably all have that, you know, most of us have that same goal. If you don't make it your goal. But, you know, I love that. I feel like that ties into a lot about what we talk about in Plexus is do not compare yourself. Just because their journey, I mean, he even talks about, he's like, you know, I've interviewed hundreds of successful people, but he's like, nobody got there the same way. It's the same as diamonds. I've heard many diamonds say, you know, I got to the top, but I didn't do it the same as, you know, so-and-so. So I really like that. I thought that really related to our Plexus business.
Mm-hmm. And it says, if you start doing the things that happy, successful people do, you will become one of them. And I would say that's something that I do. I don't know if it's subconsciously, but that's what I've done, like, from the get-go of anything. Like, I see it played out in music or in parenting as a mom. Like, I'm always seeking out, I guess, mentors or, you know, books or people that are successful, and I'm following them. Like, I see certain things, certain valuable things that they're doing in their business or whatever. Duplicate it. You'll become one of them, and then someone else will follow your lead, and you'll be an example and a blessing to them. So it's follow the leader, whether it's in Plexus or whatever else you want to be successful in.
I'll say it goes back to that quote you said previously about people don't follow followers, people follow leaders. I mean, also think about like the people you follow on Facebook. Do you follow the miserable people? Do you follow the people who complain constantly? Or do you follow the people that are living life to the fullest and having fun and being successful? And yeah, you follow those people. Those are the people you want to follow. So
yeah, I agree. The next section is about resolving to persist. And
yes,
we touched on this a little bit about being fundamentally unstoppable. When you move beyond positive thinking, beyond motivation, and just get stuff done. Yeah, my purpose here on earth is to create a nation in world of loving mirrors. Yeah, and I liked that verbiage that he said, and he was talking about the next little section. Knowing your ultimate why to. He said you may not consciously know yet, but you need to find out. And he said, because if you don't, at the first red light you come to, and there will be lots of them, without a strong enough why to, you'll give up and go home. Will you give up, or will you keep moving in the direction of your dreams? If you turn around and go home, I guess you don't want it that bad.
Yeah, I actually had that exact same thing underlined, and it makes me think of like I don't want to say preach to our teams, but I feel like we repeat to our teams that make your dream so big that, you know, you won't give up until you get there. You know, make your why something that makes you cry, because, you know, like you said, why will I persist? What's my ultimate why too? Is it, you know, freedom from your job, freedom of debt? You know, what is it that you will not stop until you get there? You know, write that down in that section, and write it down where you see it every single day, because that's going to be what makes you successful, is because you're going to do everything you can to get there. So yeah, I highlighted the same exact thing.
Okay, then the next.
Do you have anything else on that section?
No, I didn't. But there was some stuff on the next section. I think we both were kind of highlighting about. Let's see, the 2 sentences that describe all human emotion, and it's a bold print on page 201, where it says, When your opinion of your past, present, and future tends to be positive, you will be happy. When your opinion of your past, present, or future tends to be negative, you will be unhappy. And people are carrying around a lot of baggage.
Yeah, and I related that to like, oops, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it says that there's people carrying around a lot of baggage from the past. But then there's a lot of other people that have a positive opinion of their past. So what's the difference? And I liked on the very bottom of that page, it says, where is your past? Where does it exist? Only in your head. Nowhere else in the entire universe but your head. So yeah, I thought that was very, very powerful and profound. And it just shows the power of our thoughts and the wonderful, wonderful organ our brain is, but how it can really positively or negatively impact like our well-being and our life. I just read that book by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. It's called Switch on Your Brain. Definitely there's some science there to back up those thoughts. Yeah,
and if you've been with Team Plexus Provision for a while, last September we read the What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and just the power of positive thinking and how you have to rid yourself of those negative thoughts or they just consume you, like it said. Well, it kind of goes back to like who you follow on Facebook, those people who are miserable, like those people need some positive thoughts in their life. And I mean, it's just because they are so negative, get rid of those and move past them. You don't need those anymore. So
they talked about the 3 stages to release your spirit, which would be to forgive your past, appreciate your present, and step into your best future. And forgiving your past, I thought this was interesting on page 203. The truth is, some people have a big problem with this, with forgiveness or whatever. But he said the truth is, you are forgiving for yourself, not the other person. Mm-hmm. Because the other person may have sinned against you, or whatever. But look at the word forgive. It means to give for. You are giving for the purpose of being free. When you don't forgive, you're imprisoning yourself. You are forgiving for you, not for them. We are not condoning what was done to us, and we're not saying it's all right. No, it wasn't all right, but it's in the past. And if you live in the past and you have a negative view of the past, you're going to be in prison. You're going to be in bondage, really.
Yeah. And the next part, talking about appreciating your present. I really like this chapter, or this, like, just this little blurb on these next couple pages, because I feel like it's something I personally, and I have a feeling a lot of you are the same way, like, I don't think about enough. Mm-hmm. We talked about how, like, after 9/11 and after Hurricane Katrina, like, what's the first thing you want to do? Or what's the first thing you think of? You think of everything you have and all the, wonderful things you should, appreciate. And I feel like, some people look at themselves and like, oh, I'm only a silver. But, like, you are making enough money to probably cover your products. You are making enough money to benefit your family in some way or another. And that is a huge blessing. And I feel like, in life and in Plexus, like, we don't think about our blessings enough. And I just like the, just making sure that you're appreciating the present and what we have, and not, what we don't have or whatever. I was going to say something else. Megan, if you want to go ahead. I forget what my spot.
Yeah, so I wrote in the margin, remember gratefulness, gratitude for everything. And it's easy to forget when things are going well. Even when things are not going well, I feel like it's a good exercise to remember thankfulness. Do that. There's a book out. What was it called? I'm forgetting it right now. By Ann Voskamp. A Thousand Gifts, maybe that's what it's called. But I loved on the top of 205 where it says you don't have to wait until something's taken from you in order to appreciate the fact that it's there. And I think in life, I mean, whether you're reading your scriptures or you're reading a book that just causes you to remember to give thanks, it's a good practice to get into. It's a good way it's a good way to begin your prayer time too. It's just thankfulness and worship and gratefulness, because we do.
Yes, exactly. And back on 204, he says, you might say, Noah, I'm in big financial trouble right now. I've got bills, I've got debt, I'm not making any money, but I'm still breathing. I've got fingers and toes. My eyes work, my ears work. I can type, I can talk. I've got my phone, my computer. I've got a brain that works. There are so many little things that I feel like we aren't appreciative of, or our blessings. And then at the bottom, he says, I hope I'm jarring you a little bit because we just don't realize what a miracle life is. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe just because I'm pregnant, I think about that a lot right now. But I mean, for the most part, like just being able to walk out your door and breathe in some fresh air, not everybody has that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I just feel like in life in general, this section is very big, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, definitely. And then the next part of this section is just to step into your best future. And I think this is probably what sets 3%ers apart, is because when they're at the bottom of the totem pole with whatever they're doing in life, they are rocking it. They're excited. They're thankful. They're looking for ways to be more successful in what they're doing. And I think that's the difference between people, is they're not imprisoned by their life. They're looking for ways to grow. They're looking they're grateful. They're thankful. And I like where he says, I hate to say this, but life on earth ain't perfect. Many of my closest friends are multimillionaires and not one of their lives are perfect. So rather than trying to envision some glorious idealized future where everything's perfect, he just basically says, it starts now. Think about your day now. You're getting up, you're going to bed, you're eating breakfast, and you go through your day. Are you happy, bored, excited? Are you thinking, are you feeling a sense of significance and contribution? You go to bed. What are the last thoughts you think before you drift off to sleep? Is it contentment and thanksgiving, or dread at the thought of having to do it all again tomorrow? And he said, do you see what I'm getting at? This is how you live your life. And before you know it, a year's gone by, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And you're still saying to yourself, someday I will. And then, so he's basically saying, I'm inviting you to stop thinking about someday and just start doing it today. So, I thought that was excellent. It's profound. Yeah. And then he kind of goes through a recap, and then things that you can do from this chapter, he asks you to list them out. So yeah, Cari and I would just recommend you guys fill those out and think about those things.
Yeah. Something at the end of at the end of the last one too. He says the wonderful thing is, as you give yourself permission to succeed, you also give others the same permission. So, not being jealous or not being, any of that, where, give yourself permission to be successful. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I feel like sometimes people are shy away from that, and yeah, it's okay to be successful. But yeah, I do like the recap, and I do love the top 10 affirmations for step 7. I think those are very important to go through and answer those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's easy to subconsciously have our foot on the brake. I realized that recently in a few areas. And that success isn't something to be apologized for.
Yeah.
It's to be celebrated, right? But yeah, the top 10 affirmations. I liked I liked all of them, but why did I find my because? Why am I living a purpose-driven life? Why do I know why I'm here on earth? Why did I never, ever give up? Why does God bless me with unprecedented favor today? Why am I fundamentally unstoppable? Those are all great questions, affirmations to ask yourselves and repeat daily.
Yes. Agree. So, all right, Megan, you got anything else to add to it?
I don't. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
All righty. So you guys have a great week, and so we'll probably just finish up next week with Act 3, Chapter 11. All right, you guys have a great week. Take care.